Welcome to the Fort Walker Hunting, Fishing, and Trapping Orientation video. This brief orientation is designed to assist in understanding the requirements of hunting, fishing, and trapping on Fort Walker, and highlight some of the many differences between Fort Walker regulations and Virginia's state regulations. It is your responsibility to read, understand, and abide by Fort Walker's hunting, fishing, and trapping regulations, as well as all other applicable local, state, and federal laws and regulations. Fort Walker encompasses approximately 76,000 acres in Caroline and Essex counties. Approximately 50,000 acres have recreational access for hunting, fishing, trapping, and woodcutting. Recreation availability is not guaranteed. Areas are open for public recreation when not needed for military training. Training will always take priority over recreational opportunities. iSportsman is an easy-to-use, interactive, web-based service used to manage natural resources associated with recreational activities. You can buy your permits, check in and out, check area status, check for the maps, regulations, and report your harvest. You can access iSportsman through the website at https://walker.isportsman.net, or you can check in and out using their phone number at 844-326-3113. It is your responsibility to maintain current information in your iSportsman account at all times. This includes vehicle information, email address, cell phone, and emergency contacts. Update this information before every hunting season or when this information changes. Before you recreate, hunters must have completed a state-approved hunter safety course. They must have obtained all required state and federal licenses or stamps. They must have a valid ID, vehicle registration, and proof of auto insurance. They must read and understand Fort Walker's hunting, fishing, and trapping regulations. They must have an iSportsman profile and Fort Walker permits. This includes youth hunters and hunter observers. They must have the current Fort Walker recreational map. They must have a current Fort Walker weapons registration, and those without a government ID must obtain a visitor ID card at the VCC. Range Control updates the training areas and ponds available for recreation by approximately 1,700 each day for the following day. The area status list is available on iSportsman under the Areas and Maps tab. Be sure to note the Date tab to ensure you are looking at the correct date. Reservations for hunting can be made between 1900 hours and 0000 hours the night before. You must arrive at Fort Walker and check into your reservation prior to 0600 hours to avoid expiration. Abuse of the reservation system is monitored regularly by conservation law enforcement. You may not check in until you physically arrive at Fort Walker. Once you have checked in, you may proceed to your area by the most direct route. Driving on the installation without checking in is not allowed. Your latest possible checkout time for each day will be displayed during the check-in process. These times are also available in the regulations. At the end of your hunt, make sure you check out of your area before you leave Fort Walker. Make sure you fully complete the process in iSportsman. This will be confirmed by a green check mark on your screen. Print your permit and carry it with you at all times while on Fort Walker. Print your vehicle pass and display it in the windshield of your vehicle at all times while on Fort Walker. If multiple people are recreating out of the same vehicle, each person's vehicle pass must be displayed. Always have the current Fort Walker recreational use map with you. You are responsible for knowing where you are and being in the correct area at all times. We recommend carrying a GPS or downloading one of the many apps on your phone to aid in navigation. While recreating on Fort Walker, the only drivable roads are the recreational roads. These roads are marked yellow on the recreational map. The only exception to this is in the recovery of deer. The speed limit is 25 miles per hour unless otherwise posted. Parking must be on the road shoulder adjacent to the area you are checked into. Do not block other vehicle travel on roads or trails, and your vehicle must be visible from the recreational road. Respect all ongoing training operations. This may require you to take an alternate route or slow your speed down. It is your responsibility to read the regulations and review the recreational map to identify areas designated as no hunting. These areas will be marked red on the recreational map. Entering Fort Walker for recreation without checking in through iSportsman is prohibited and treated as trespassing. Blaze orange or pink hat and vest is required while hunting any species during any muzzleloader or firearm deer season. This includes archery hunters and archery only areas. Blaze colors are recommended for all rec users during this time of year. Blinds must be marked with 2 square feet of blaze color visible from 365 degrees. Reference the hunting, fishing, and trapping regulations for more information. While transporting weapons, you must carry a valid weapons registration at all times. Weapons must be unloaded, encased, and inaccessible to the driver and passengers while being transported. Encased includes disassembled or locked in a trunk, camper, or toolbox. Weapons must be unloaded outside of legal shooting hours. Discharging a firearm for purposes other than hunting is prohibited. Always be sure of what your target is and what lies beyond. While recreating at Fort Walker, it is possible to find unexploded ordnances, UXOs, anywhere. Follow the 3 R's of explosive safety. Recognize, retreat, report. Recognize. Do not touch or disturb the UXO. If a UXO is found, mark the area, not the UXO. Retreat. Leave the area carefully by retracing your steps. Report. Report it immediately to range control at 804-633-8224. If it's not yours, don't touch it. Use tree stands at your own risk and always follow manufacturers and TMA guidelines for safe use. Only portable tree stands may be used on Fort Walker. Occupying a permanent tree stand is prohibited. Screw and tree steps are prohibited. Saddles are permitted, but you must remain attached to the tree at all times. Tree stands may be left overnight, but they must be marked with your iSportsman permit number. There is no guarantee that the area will be open the next day. All tree stands must be removed by the end of February or they will be considered permanent and removed. In the event of an emergency, please call Fort Walker Emergency Services right away at 804-633-8911. Be prepared to give detailed directions to your location. In the event that you need to get a hold of the police desk in a non-emergency situation, please call 804-633-8888. In the case of inclement weather, call the Fort Walker Advisory Line for updates on closure for recreational activities. You can call 804-633-8600. Please keep your phone available to receive area closure texts through iSportsman and/or check the iSportsman homepage for updates. There are 31 controlled access areas located south of Route 301 within the range complex. Because of their location near dangerous military operations, first-year hunters cannot access the CA areas. Also, hunting in the CA areas requires an additional safety briefing. Please see the hunting, fishing, and trapping regulations for more information on hunting in the CAs. Hunters may only check into 4 areas per day. Check out of your current area and check into the next area before traveling to it. Between the hours of 1100 and 1300, hunters may leave Fort Walker for lunch without checking out of their area in iSportsman. Hunters must tag their big game harvest, obtain confirmation number through Virginia Department of Wildlife Resources prior to transporting from place of kill. All game needs to be reported in iSportsman upon checking out of the area. Anglers only need to report the fish that are harvested, not all fish caught. All deer, bear, turkeys, coyotes, and bobcats will be checked in at the Game Check Station located outside of the Fish and Wildlife Office. The Fish and Wildlife Office will be designated on the recreational map as an orange star. Biologists will collect biological data from your harvest. Fort Walker differs from state and county regulations. Pay attention as the following may change based on the area that you are hunting or fishing. Daily bag limits, either sex days, antler restrictions, archery only areas, archery shot shell only areas, or creel limits, just to name a few. Be sure to know, understand, and abide by the current Fort Walker hunting, fishing, and trapping regulations to prevent loss of recreational privileges. Violations may result in adverse administrative action to include revocation of recreational privileges or being permanently barred from post, or punishment under the Uniform Code of Military Justice Article 92. Violations may also result in civil or criminal prosecution under 18 U.S.C. 1382 or other applicable federal, state, or local laws. Failure to cooperate with law enforcement during the course of an investigation, documents check, vehicle inspection, law enforcement checkpoint could result in revocation of recreational privileges or being barred from post. Lying or concealing information during these law enforcement activities could also lead to revocation of recreational privileges or being barred from post. Failure to check out at the end of a hunt has been one of the most commonly committed violations and will be monitored closely by law enforcement. Failure to check out results in an immediate hold on your account, preventing farther use of iSportsman, and could result in loss of recreational privileges at Fort Walker. All acknowledgments must be read before accepting them. By accepting them, you are agreeing to the terms of that acknowledgment. A few of the prohibited hunting methods at Fort Walker are the use of buckshot, centerfire rifles, deer dogs, deer drives, ATVs, UTVs, and off-road motorized vehicles, and party hunting. Fort Walker is public hunting land, so please be respectful of other hunters. Do your best to avoid interfering with a hunter already positioned to hunt. Try to maintain a separation distance of 200 meters. Be sure of your target and what is beyond. This is especially important when squirrel hunting during archery season as there is no blaze orange requirements. Please transport harvested game in a manner that is respectful to the non-hunting public. There are many differences in recreating at Fort Walker than other private or public lands. It is vital that all users read and understand the Fort Walker hunting, fishing, and trapping regulations. The Fort Walker iSportsman website contains helpful information and news that will guide you through an enjoyable recreational experience. Be safe and good luck.